I'm Daniel Myers with Snowflake here today at Snowflake Summit 2024 here in San Francisco, California. Sakid, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Daniel. What an awesome show that's going on here.
Thank you for inviting me over to your booth here at Snowflake Summit. Excited to be here. Tell me a little bit more about what does Nexla do?
Yeah, so we play a very important part in the data ecosystem, partnering up with Snowflake on that. And the main problem that we solve is how do we get data into your Snowflake environment from all kinds of places. And by the way, this is a problem that people have been solving through the years. But one of the unique things that we bring is how to automatically create connections to new systems and really work with the true diversity of data that is out there. And for that reason, we actually share some amazing customers with you guys, from large companies like DoorDash to companies like LiveRamp to companies like Lincoln Center for Performing Arts, connecting a really broad variety of systems with the Snowflake environment.
That's fantastic. So my understanding is you're the co-founder.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about how you built this company. When did it start, and how much has it grown since you started?
Yeah, so I started this company with a simple goal: focus on the user of data and make sure that they can get ready to use data in their hands. And what I realized was that the challenge that they were facing was just the variety of data systems that they had to work with. And this user of data doesn't really care if the data comes from an API or a stream or a file. They just want the data in the place where they want to use it. And sure enough, the place they want to use it is in Snowflake. And the problem we solved is like, you know what, you don't have to worry about that. We'll figure all of that out. Data will come, nicely structured, documented, validated, and ready to go. And when you have the data in Snowflake, you can use it in any which way you like. You can use it for analytics, you can use it for AI, you can even use this data to maybe activate your internal systems if you want to plug things in. So, Snowflake plays a central role in this ecosystem, and we're making sure that things are going in and coming out and back and forth in the right way possible.
So that's a pretty powerful vision, and totally agree. Simplicity is crucial to the entire ecosystem. So dive a little bit more. Tell me about, when you say kind of this universal connectivity to data and ingesting it into Snowflake, how do you do that? Is it through a series of connectors? Is it through a framework? Is it through, tell me about, dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the top of the thing is two key pillars. One is automation in the whole process, and the second is collaboration in how this works. So the automation in the process comes with connector generation is one part of it. What we do there is understand how to connect to any new system. So a connection at a very basic level would be how do we parse the data, how do we handle the errors of a source system, how do we make sure we can track what data we have seen and what's new. So doing that is a bit like a set of Lego pieces. And when you tell us to connect to a system and provide the credentials, those right Lego pieces come together to be that connector. And then it understands the source model automatically. Once it understands the source model, then we do the job of pushing it into Snowflake where you can get your data in a structured fashion. So that's one part. There's a lot of automation in all the way, and also how we monitor when things fail, be able to detect that and so on, because you need observability on the warehouse, but you also need monitoring on the pipeline itself. So a lot of those pieces come together, and then finally the collaboration part comes because every piece that is in there is no code, but also has low code and pro code capabilities. So now you have a business user using it, but you also have an engineer saying, you know what, I can build on this system to solve unique problems. And in data, there are always unique problems that keep coming up, and it's hard to be a complete no-code solution and we still be flexible. So we bridge those worlds together.
Makes sense. So, I see here behind us, some key customers: DoorDash, Instacart, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the types of data that these big customers are using with your platform.
Yeah, and that's where the real fun lies, right? DoorDash uses us, for example, to connect to merchants. So DoorDash needs to know which store has what products available, and that information varies store by store. So imagine 10,000 CVS stores and 10,000 Walgreens stores and so many large to mom and pop. So much data variety changing every single day. So they use our platform to connect. And the important thing is they're able to get non-engineers set this up and run this. With somebody like a J&J, it's data that actually is coming in the clinical trials process. from different device companies, from consumer wearables to medical devices. High-speed streaming data coming in, and again, bringing that data in and making it usable. And across the board, we see industries where there are unique places of data which are really high business value, operational use cases that we connect into.
That's exciting. I mean, it's really cool to see such big names on this board. It's also cool to hear about the types of data that they ingest. So, one last question. Tell me about kind of over the next 6 to 12 months, what should some of these customers and maybe some prospects get really excited about that's coming on the roadmap for your product?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one thing I would say is that the powerful tools that these enterprises are enjoying are showing up in self sign-up. So if they are on Snowflake, go to Partner Connect and you can sign up and get your Nexla account right away. And that's a great way to start with Nexla. The second thing I'll point out is generative AI, which we can't stop talking about. And the fact is that there's amazing stuff coming from Snowflake on the generative AI side. What Nexla is doing is that generative AI, RAG especially, is a lot of integration. Connecting different types of data into vector storage, generating those embeddings. We give a lot of flexibility to do that across different data formats and across different types of tools. And secondly, the RAG workflows themselves, asking that question, fetching that information, and getting that answer is also a real-time integration which we are enabling through an easy design process. And in fact, when it comes to customers of Snowflake, the valuable thing is that we have figured out a mechanism by which when you ask the question, we're able to figure out whether it should go to a database table, whether it should go to a document embedding store, whether it should go to maybe a third-party environment to get that answer, generate that SQL query, fetch the relevant vectors, and get that answer out from the LLM. So there's a lot of interesting stuff coming from our side, both in generative AI and easier, simpler, more accessible tools.
That's amazing.
And a lot more that I can keep going on and on about, by the way. Yeah.
Well, Saket, it's been a blast. Thank you again for inviting me over to your booth, learning all about Nexla. I'll see you around the expo floor.
Yeah, thank you for coming over and taking a look at what we are doing. It's always exciting to share the stories, of course, with the Snowflake team and all the amazing customers we have.
Thanks, everybody.